Hey everyone, this is Suzanne. I am wanting to share with you a foundational principle from the Lightyear leadership body of work called Remembering the Future. I just think that is the coolest title. It's the coolest title, right? It's this idea that you can remember the future. It gives this picture to me of having these pebbles that I can follow that will guide me to know what to do. So this particular principle podcast audio that follows is very interesting because it tells the story of how I discovered this concept when I was a young woman, what it means in the changing world, how to be a vision-based leader and work with precursor planning. It also really can help a person with your vision board, to be able to come from a future that doesn't necessarily seem possible today, and yet that beautiful future will show you how to achieve it as you allow yourself to remember how you did it. People often tell me, well, Suzanne, I have that vision, but I don't know how to do it. And then as soon as they get this idea that they could remember it, that it is possible, that within them there are the brain patterns, the inner knowing, the ability to attract the correct resources, then the whole idea of fulfilling a vision from that picture becomes so much more robust and so much more possible. So I really look forward to you enjoying it, and take care.
This is Suzanne Conrad from Lightyear Leadership, sharing with you the principle, Remembering the Future. This concept has been so mind-blowing, so mind-opening for me. I very first experienced it as a young woman when I was working at the Rocky Flats nuclear weapons facility. It was right during the time when the Berlin Wall was falling and the world was changing and the need for nuclear weapons was changing, and the need to demilitarize and alter the mission was so important. And what I recognized was happening, I would walk around the grounds doing my job, going to different buildings, and I would see the buildings leveled. I would see the land restored. I would see people living peacefully. I would remember the future. And when it first started happening, I didn't really know quite what to think about it. I just let it in and thought, well, you're an interesting person, Suzanne. This is what's going on for you. That over time, as I reflected on it, I came up with a statement that really helped me, which was this: I am already someone's ancestor. And from that statement, many things came forth in my life. One of them was understanding that there wasn't going to be some kind of crazy Armageddon and some apocalyptic event, that really the world works out, and that I am an ancestor to successful people. So that was a very comforting and an enlightening thought to have as a young woman. In addition, it also had me realize that I was all the time leaving a legacy. Remembering the future, really, then, is a vision-based way of leading. So for those of you that would like a bit more of a practical example than me having my pictures as I'm walking around this weapon site, Edward Lindemann, the planner for the Apollo project, created something called Precursor Planning. And when John F. Kennedy set the intention to put a man on the moon, he created the vision. And then Edward Lindemann did a very brilliant thing. And he said to his engineering team, he said, imagine that we have landed on the moon. What did we do right before that? And what did we solve right before that? And what did we recognize right before that? And he was able to work with his team piece by piece, to help them remember the future step by step and walk their way backwards to the now. And just take a moment to let that in. There is profound brilliance, because what he did is he gave the brain of all of his team and of himself a picture of success. So instead of saying, tell me all the things that you think could go wrong, tell me all the reasons why this won't work, tell me why we're going to get stuck, he had his team meet that challenge from a successful future, and he worked with the time frame so that he landed them on the moon and worked it backwards frame by frame. The same thing can happen when you look at a maze in the Sunday paper and you begin with the end in mind and you work your way back to the beginning. You'll find that you don't get stuck on barriers. Your brain works the same way. So all you have to do is become a playful and loving master of time and space and recognize that since all time is now, all you really need to do is step into a future now and remember what you did to have it all work out. Your brain can answer that question. It actually likes to be asked, well, what did you do? Oh, okay. I guess I figured out this. I must have met the right person that would help me. So then, of course, what does it do? The brain starts to attract those people, those situations, those opportunities, and we are fully in the process of remembering the future. Now, just a note on this. Since all of strategic instinct deals on some level with vision and the actions that we take to fulfill vision, you might also find that some of you may have anti-visions, meaning negative pictures of what could happen, of disasters, of failure, of a less than successful outcome. So what you want to be able to do with this first principle is begin now to have the discipline to honor and to recognize and to have the sanctification to hold the picture of the success. Your brain and your superconscious mind wants to manifest that picture. It will manifest any picture, though. So if you want to lead with your whole brain, you're going to be going and disciplining yourself to delete those negative images, to step yourself out of fear and doubt and into faith and patience. You're going to be loading that picture in through the spoken word. We are landing successfully a man on the moon. Or the world is finding a path to clean technology. I am in a loving, successful relationship. My children are well and whole. So each one of these statements sets an intention that then we can work ourselves backwards so that we can find the path to find our way back. The other thing that I'd say about remembering the future is sometimes it means that you clear the past. You may never forget the past, but there are times where you may need to clear it. At this point, let me suffice to say, you may need to forgive yourself for an error. You may need to recognize that you're learning. You may need to recognize that whatever happened in the past has brought you to where you are. Yet to create a future that's unconstrained by the past, there needs to be a release of it. And if you find that your identity is based in the past, you may need to allow a new identity for yourself to form. So as I said in the introduction, in this first principle, it might be where you say, I'm learning how to be an incredible operational scientist, or I'm learning how to apply my full spectrum of creativity, or I am choosing to be both. I'm allowing myself to receive insights daily. I am allowing myself to release any difficulties from the past every time I go outside and exercise. So the way to set yourself up to succeed is to recognize that there may be a past to release so that you can stand in that unprecedented future and remember your way back home to the now.